What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Business Breakthrough. I got to sit down today with Andy of Virtue Home Remodeling, and what a great conversation. Really just, I love the standard. You know, there's a certain standard about who we let into our world, who we let into our business. When it comes to remodelers, the standard's even higher than that of us who focus on one trade. So today's Business Breakthrough was about hiring, filtering out, finding the process and creating something that can be duplicated, that can be expanded. And a lot of awesome points in here. Andy is an awesome business leader, and I have no doubt that he's going to take this advice, take it to the next level. And I hope to hear from him again afterwards once he gets this hiring thing out of the way. Awesome business breakthrough, and it starts right now. The big question you need to ask yourself every day is, do I own a job or do I own a business? And unfortunately, the majority of contractors out there own a job. That's right, they're a slave to their own business. But the other side of the fence is so much greener, it's so much better, and that's when you're finally fully in control of your destiny, your freedom, your time. And that's what Contractor Secrets is about. It's about taking back our time, building a business with systems, standards, values, procedures, putting yourself in the driver's seat. And that's what it's about. So I'm excited. I'm happy to have you here. Let's dive into the Contractor Secrets podcast. What is going on, everyone? Oh, and you know what, real quick before I do that, I saw something, Andy. Is it VR home building or remodeling?
It's VHR builds. So it's Virtue Home Remodeling.
Virtue Home Remodeling. Got it. I just want to make sure I say that right. Got it. Okay. All right. What's going on, everyone? I'm here with Andy Tuskin of Virtue Home Remodeling in Pittsburgh. Glad to have you here, man. I love remodeling companies because you're versatile. You got a lot going on. You're on a job site right now. Things are raw behind you. I got raw drywall, that's looks finished. So what is your role in your company, man? Why are you on the job right now? Are you actually working? Tell me a little bit about your world.
I am. So I'm actually in my brother's house right now.
Okay.
My role in my company is essentially a single owner LLC.
Okay.
I am in the brush, as you say, and looking.
You're in all the tools if you're a remodeling company.
Yeah.
You're in the toolbox.
Sometimes that versatility is a negative. It's almost too much, and I want to simplify my life and
sure.
And just kind of get down to the raw.
What got you in this, Andy? Why the remodeling business? How did all this start?
So I was in sales for maybe 2014, 2015 car sales. And
me too.
No way.
Yeah.
So maybe
same
there's
year
a difference
too.
there.
Right around that time. Yeah.
If a customer walked in, I'd have a hard time if they wanted the vehicle closing the deal. It was that rough. So over the past 6-7 years, I've been really trying to hone those sales skills, and I don't even know I got off topic, but really I love remodeling. I always built Lego sets as I was a kid, and just the ability to build something from scratch is pretty cool. So I got out of car sales, knew it wasn't for me. Selling a job is a little different because I have that portfolio to back up, but got out of sales, and a contractor from my church in Bible study, he said, hey, just from prayer requests and things, I have a job opening, come and see how you like it. I immediately took off, and it was he'd had so many investments, and he really just taught me the simplicity from framing, drywall, and I caught on quick. So eventually he retired to Florida, and I opened my own thing, and I've been loving it ever since. A couple issues I'm sure we'll get into. The hiring. I actually just listened probably for the 5th or 6th, your 2nd episode of the podcast about hiring.
Really? You went that far back, huh?
It started fresh. And I'm trying to just get back to that simple, looking for quality guys that have your back.
100%. Oh man, dude. Well, listen, first of all, I love the name Virtue. I love the mission. I love the story. All that line is in alignment with what I believe, and I think that you're there for a reason. I think there's an opportunity to bless a lot of people. I think when you look at hiring in a way that is an opportunity to impact others' lives, you go in with a different mindset, and that's how I look at it. And that also protects me from bad hires, because I do not allow anyone that isn't, in my eyes, worthy of what I'm about to do for them. And it's not saying that I'm some, savior, but I will say that if you come on board with me, listen, I'm going to treat you like a human being. I'm going to create opportunity for you. I'm going to do things by the book that allow you to grow. I'm going to make sure you have work every day. I'm going to make sure your paycheck's on time every day, or every week. I'm going to make sure that you're in a great work environment around great people. Or, I mean, this is what I believe about my business and my standards. So I love that for you that there's a mission there, but I think it starts with the mindset behind what hiring is, and if you have this label of, man, hiring is tough, I can't find good help. I think that it's a mindset thing. I think that good help is a relative statement. It's relative to who the person is. You might see good help in the same way as another person, but I see good help in a different light. I also think that the cards are stacked against you. I think that as a remodeling company, you have, unfortunately, you have the cards stacked against you in a sense that you need a certain type of individual that has the certain type of mindset you had. Someone that loves Legos, loves building, loves that stuff. And what that does is, first of all, that cuts your labor pool down. Then you have to find somebody that's an upstanding citizen that you don't mind interacting with your customers. That cuts the labor pool down. Then you got to find someone that's in alignment with your values, because we tend to only want to be around people that are in alignment with our values and our standards and our systems and all that stuff. So that cuts the labor pool down, right? Then you want to find somebody that you can eventually trust to do work on their own. That cuts the labor pool down. So then you're looking for a stable of what we call unicorns. This early in your business, that's frustrating. And I assume that's where you're at right now, is that it's almost like you can't even find anyone that fits the mold. Is that correct?
And I'm sick of saying it. I'm sick of talking to contractor friends and they're, oh, there's no workers. Oh, inflation, this garbage. I'm just going to close up shop. Yeah. And, I say the same thing. So, but it does get to a point where you're just exhausted of the, searching and searching. But I find people like you that have done it, and you got steps.
I've done it. I've got steps, but I got to ask you this. Let me ask you this. And a part of what I'm doing here is try to just maybe shine the light on some areas that maybe you don't know about, or maybe you know about, and they just need a little light to be shined on them, right? So my first question to you is, in the last 30 days, how many phone interviews have you done in the last 30 days?
4.
How many in-person interviews have you done?
3.
How many hires have you made?
0.
Okay. So that 4 phone interviews somehow leads to 3 in-person interviews, but 1 doesn't show up. So that was 2 in-person interviews, and that got you 0 results, right? Simple math. So what I'm guessing is that if you find a way to do 8 phone interviews, that'll get you 6 in-person interviews. That'll get you potentially 2 hires. Right? I mean, essentially, that's based on this data, but that might be wrong. That might only get you 1 hire.
Yes. And I'm an analytical guy as well. I think of all those things, and I'm like, how can I?
But think about it this way: when in terms of finding a mate, right? Like our wives, or our wife, singular. Speed dating isn't a good practice, right? But in terms of hiring, you really want to sit down with as many people as possible. You really do. You've got to do this, but you can't go into it not knowing what you're looking for. And I tell people this all the time. Again, cards are stacked against you as a remodeling company, Andy. So let's find out what the heck you're looking for. If we're going to talk about anything today, let's start there. What are you looking for? Tell me in your own words.
I don't want to get to that point where I have too much work. So let's just go back to what I'm looking for. I am looking to scale 1 person at a time. And I know that may mean that I need to get those more in person, more calls out. but I'm looking to scale one person at a time. And eventually the goal is to be out of the brush.
Don't make the mistake of trying to scale someone to duplicate yourself in the way that you're scaling, right? Because that'll happen. Because if you
I'm
assume
a perfectionist.
Right. And the thing is that you're doing everything right now. To scale someone to replace you right now is not a good move. You need to scale a system. You don't want to scale a person. You don't want to scaling a person right now in the way that you're seeing things is like, I want somebody to do what I'm doing, the way I do it, how I do it. It's working because you're the owner of the business and you have profit as your push. Also, the fact that you're the owner of the business. So no one's going to care as much about the business as you. You need to scale a system. And a system is, well, you and I both know one person remodeling by themselves week after week after week after week is probably not an efficient system. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you agree that having two people work together is a much more efficient system than that?
Almost 3 times.
And it's not only about the fact that the work gets done quicker, it's the camaraderie there during the day. Isn't it? Hey man, I'm going to run to the store real quick, grab us some Gatorades. Perfect. Thanks, man. Hey man, do you need, and it's like team environment, right? There's something more there. Okay. That's where you should start. That's your gold star.
Yeah.
You need
so
hires.
Let me preface, I have had employees before, and at my current position at the current time, right now, I have either let people go or people have quit and went a different way.
And in your words, why has that happened?
I'm not one for making excuses. So I tend to, if someone quits, I'm going to get into their life and I'm going to, because I connect people with people very quickly and on a deeper level. So I like to build that trust. And whenever someone does either quit or I have to let someone go, which is fine. It's all a part of it. I like to ask them. So I believe, I don't know, because it's all going to run back to who am I finding or where am I finding these quality, like looking in a mirror.
Right. So
that's not always what I need.
And that's what I really, if that's happening, there's something there. And I don't think it's a personality issue.
I know it's not pay.
It's first of all, we have to create a hedge in a good way of only working with individuals that don't need character building as a qualification to be in. So we got to make sure that we have people with good character, because that cannot be taught. It could be over long term. You're not in a position to be a character builder at this time. You're a home remodeler. You need to focus all your attention on the skills. The character has to come with the applicant. Okay. Yes. So when we hire individuals early on in our business that don't have good character or don't have good habits, putting them into an environment that requires character and habits and skill is almost a recipe for disaster. Would you agree with that?
It is.
Okay. So when we hire, we're looking for character. We're not looking for skill, because again, skill is a lot easier to train than character, right? Okay. So trying to find someone with both skill and character is you, and you're a business owner. You're harder to find. You're harder to get. You're harder to find, right? Not
and that's why, out of the 3 that I did sit down with, none of them fit any sort of scale.
So we need to dial down our expectations on the skill side.
No, I was saying in terms to character.
Sure. Oh, I see. Okay, so that means that our filtering out process wasn't dialed in.
One came with a portfolio.
Okay.
He was using the F word the whole time, and he wasn't on the phone.
Right.
So, and also this is very new to me. I'm going to get with you on that Google form. And I really believe in that process of the 7-step all the way to the background check. And it just doesn't seem that I've been, I'm not hurting right now for an employee, but I am hurting in a way that I want.
That the time is ticking, that you need to get the ball rolling on this, and the ball isn't rolling. And that's just delaying your vision of what you want for yourself and your business. Each day you wake up and hey, I didn't progress in this area. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to give you the foundation, because if you don't know what you're looking for, you can't find it. And I'm telling you right now, with a remodeling business, this is going to be harder than if you were a painter or a flooring contractor or a granite contractor, because you're expecting a certain individual that is very hard to find. So it's going to make it really difficult for you to scale that if it's hard to find those individuals, unless you have a solid process dialed in for how someone becomes a remodeler. And that, in my opinion, is taking them step by step through each trade. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Okay. So when we look at what it's going to be to scale the system, not the person, you need 2 people. That's a system. So you should be focused on making 2 hires.
Okay.
Okay. That's a little bit different than what you were thinking, because I know that, because it was most people would think, hey, I got to start with 1. You need to start with 2. And I know that's a little overwhelming, because you're like, well, I don't know if I have the job, or if you dialed in the numbers, you have enough jobs and money for 2, but you got to remember, we're scaling a system now. It's better to start with 2. You start with 1, then you have to bring on the other one to build the system. You see what I'm saying?
Build the system all at once, and it's
I would really consider this, but then you got to know what you're looking for in terms of skill set. Okay. You could get lucky and find somebody that has skills too, but do we want to depend on that going forward? You didn't have the skills and someone taught you, correct? How did you learn? What was their process to teach you to the point where you felt confident enough to start your own remodeling business?
Thinking back though, I am such a DIYer at heart. And I think this does correlate to my hiring. And like you say, that guy that came on and said, I just learned how to change my whatever grandma's alternator.
Yeah.
I want that. I want those guys take
okay.
that stuff, you know.
Perfect. So
that's my am.
So when we go back to that filtering out process, I think one thing that's really important to you is that you say no experience required, because we both know you're going to be there guiding and teaching throughout the way, right? But what you do want to look for are things like that, using those questions in my form that says, hey, what's something you learned recently, right? When you're filtering out the applicants. And I think it starts obviously with an appealing ad. I'm going to go through this because, again, this is the foundation of your business. If you can't figure out how to get people in here to work for you, you'll never grow and scale. Never. You can't do it by luck, because you can't repeat luck. You got to be serious about this, in a sense that you got to create the ad, and the ad has to speak exactly what you want. It's almost like a dating ad. You know, you don't go and say, hey, I'd like to meet a girl. It would be, hey, I would like to meet somebody that has a charming personality, that likes to walk dogs, that whatever that person wants. It's the same thing with attracting people for hiring. So for you, I would think that no experience required. And I don't know is that any different than what you've been doing? How have you been attracting those people?
It's been off and on through Craigslist.
Okay.
I did try it and I liked it. I took my post down because I immediately, was discouraged, and I have to work through a couple of self-care things as well. But I just always think there's a better way. And now I dove into Facebook a good bit, and I'm getting a few calls here and there.
Have you tried Indeed?
I haven't, no.
Okay. So you got to think of what the market wants, and we can have a conversation about marketing and about how people find you as a contractor. But more importantly, let's talk about what the market is in the labor market. It's called a labor market for a reason. There's a market of people out there that need to be marketed to, that want jobs, supply and demand. Although, yes, they're not buying something from you. You're offering an opportunity for them to make money, but they can't find you. That's one of the biggest issues. This is a pretty simple principle I use all the time, is that if they don't know you're hiring, they can't apply. And the best hires are the ones that usually are working for someone else that want a better opportunity, or they're moving into town. And if you don't have an active ad out right now in the place that somebody in one of those 2 categories are looking for, well, then how could they find you? How you're missing out on those people. You see? So like those all factor in. Right now, Indeed is the most popular by far job search tool in the world, or at least in America. So it would be a very smart move to set up an Indeed account and be familiar with their service.
Yeah.
And my opinion is $10 a day, every day, run the ad every day for 30 days. It's $300 a month. Would you agree right now, if you gave me $300 and I gave you a great applicant, would you say that's a fair trade-off?
Absolutely.
All right, so
Thousand. I'll throw you a
yeah.
rack.
Now here, give me a rack. There you go. No, but what that should do is that should justify that expense.
I see. You know what? And I looked into that. I looked into ZipRecruiter and the whole bit. And I think that in a way turned me off because of my failure with, well, not even failure, small failures, but with, the lower end, the Craigslist, and maybe I'm just getting.
But you got to realize somebody that's on Craigslist could be somebody different than somebody that actually takes the time to go on Indeed. Why? Because when you sign up for Indeed, you have to go through you got to go through a process. You got to fill out your name. You got to fill out all your information. You got to build your profile. You got to upload a resume. So Indeed actually by default will actually filter out some people that otherwise would say, oh, I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We don't want those people. We got to move on. So right then and there, that's another great benefit. Now, another cool thing when you put out the ad on Indeed is that they actually give you recommended individuals that align with what you're looking for, and you can invite them to apply. So you have like 20 people after you're done building this ad that they'll say, hey, would you like to invite this person to apply, invite this person to apply? And they have, in their bio, painter, flooring contractor. You might find people that are painters that want to get into remodeling and you want to teach that. Okay. But I don't want to deviate too far. The process. I'd be happy to give you that course if you want, and you can go through it. Would you like my hiring course? I'll give it to you for free.
Absolutely.
Take it. You're going to need it. Okay. But here we got to get back to the core here. When you bring someone in, you need to have the plan for them laid out, Andy, especially in your business. Number one, you've got to identify clearly who your ideal customers are and what they expect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should see my notes.
Love it.
And I know you're now like, sorry, go on.
Well, no, I'm saying like in terms of what they expect, but more importantly, what they request. So what are those job types that you're currently taking on frequently? What are they?
Bathroom remodels, higher end, if you're familiar with Pittsburgh, we're in Upper St. Clair a lot doing
only through my friend Skyler. He tells me about it. I heard it. Yeah. He tells me. Yeah. So I know a little bit. I know Ben Roethlisberger just retired.
Yeah, that's funny.
So, but okay. So remodeling a bathroom. Okay. So inside of a remodel of a bathroom, there's this step process that you do this as soon as you open that bathroom door. Okay. Mm-hmm. Do you have that laid out in a clear, concise format yet?
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay. So then what you would do is you would break that up into a 2-week training program. Okay. Right. So you would actually break that up into 10 chunks. Have you done anything similar?
Not quite. No.
Okay. So 10 chunks means 5 working days. Mm-hmm. So it would essentially be, hey, on this day, we're learning this. On this day, we're learning this. On this day, we're learning this. On this, we're learning this. Then, of course, you might want to do that again. And in this case, you would allow them to do the things that they learned and you shadow, right? Mm-hmm. And I know that it might seem a little bit for 3 people to be crammed into that bathroom, but what that does by default for you, Andy, is it teaches you to step back. Mm. And that's going to be a skill set that you have got to learn, because I know you're going to want to go in there and you're going to want to go and cut that piece of tile. You're going to want to go and set that, that is something, again, that you're going to have to work on. Is that something that you look at and say, whew, I don't know.
I'm sweating.
Yeah, I'm sweating. So again, so you got to have that laid out. And I think it's good that you already have that process down, dude. Excellent. Really what it comes down to is identifying how you can take someone who is aware of the trades, bring them into your business, and then take them through a process that turns them into a quality employee. Trying to find that without putting in the work to create it is going to cause work anyway. So you might as well just put in the work in nurturing someone with a great personality, great attitude, willing to learn, and teach them what you need them to know. And then guess what? They're proprietary at that point. Yeah. They're loyal. You would have been loyal to the person who brought you on had he not retired. Agree?
Well, I have a little bit of a different mindset with business, and I always have, I think, but yes.
A little bit longer, maybe if he gave you a supervisor role with some salary. Yes. Obviously, there would have been the time where you branched off, but in other words,
we're great friends now. And he's almost 70.
Right. Yeah, and he lucked out by finding you. So it's like when we go back to that filtering out process, do you mind if we run through a couple pointers on that?
Sure.
Are you okay with that? Okay.
Please.
So step 1, okay. And this process works. So just know that you don't have to question if it works or not. I've been doing it for years. Many people have been doing it that have followed me. And it's a great process because there's one thing that we're trying to find. Is this person of good quality in terms of their character? That's it. We're just trying to filter out character flaws. That's it. And it's not that people with character flaws aren't worthy of our time. For me, it's just, unfortunately, I have to focus my attention and time on, things that help grow my business. I'm just not in a position to go back into that area because I've learned my lesson. So for you, let's talk about it. So it starts off with that appealing ad. In that ad, the focus of that ad, Andy, should be a better opportunity. Having you as a business owner and mentor, which comes along with it, it looks like, especially because of how you mentor and get deeper with individuals. That's a great thing for some people. So it's important that you include those things. So by default, when they come out, they're not surprised and they don't take it the wrong way. Because it sounds like even if you're not going to jive with someone that doesn't want to communicate with you anyway. Me either. So what you should be focusing on in that ad is saying something along the lines of Virtue Home Remodeling. We are a growth-minded company that believes in helping the individuals that work alongside us hit life milestones, work milestones, and achieve their absolute best they can while being a part of our team. Something along those lines. Because Andy, what's going to happen? There's two people that are going to read that. One person sees that and says, that sounds like more than what I even want to deal with. I want to go to work with my head down, do my work, and get out. Someone else is going to see that, Andy, and say, I want a piece of that. And I just gave you a sentence that I came off on the top of my head, but you can see how real that would be when someone's about to apply. Could you?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's
filtering. These are things
out.
that I question myself. I think I question myself too much on every
authenticity,
iota. And yes,
authenticity. Just everything you do needs to be authentic with your customers, with your employees.
Even in an ad.
Even that's the most important place. Even in an ad, your name is Virtue, right? Authenticity, bro. Put that in there so right off the bat, anyone applying has moved on to the next stage. Okay. Be careful though. They just hit apply. When they say it. So hold on, because we got to have that second step, right? The second step is creating a custom question on Indeed. And the custom question is this: why are you interested in this specific job? Now it forces them to actually give you a little piece of their personality in that little snippet there. And I've seen things ranging from, I want to make more money, to this sounds like a great opportunity for me to grow. Boom. I like that guy. Cool. Next step. You send a message on Indeed and you say, hey, thanks so much for applying. We received it. I'd like to share with you our application. Please fill out this form. And I wait. I want to see how long it takes them from the time I sent that to the time they actually fill it out. If it's anything more than 6 hours, I'm not moving forward. Why? You and I both know if you really want a job, anything that person responds to you, you're getting it done. You're like, oh, an opportunity, right? I let someone go in Dripjobs. I'm having to try to hire developers. Real quick story. Developer reached out to me. He wanted an opportunity, said he hadn't gotten an opportunity to develop. He just came out of code school and we could use somebody low cost, but wants to learn. Did the same thing I do in my painting business, man. Send him the link. He didn't get back to me for 8 hours. I didn't get it. Told him, thank you so much, man. Unfortunately, this isn't going to work. And it's not personal. It's like, I know what the right applicant would do. And I'm not willing to settle for anything less than that. So that person fills out the form. Okay. From there, you have those strategic questions. Why do you want this job? Right? Even though that was asked on the other one, you can come up with a different one. What is something you learned recently? How do you feel like you would be a good contributor to our team? Okay. What are your goals? What are some things that you're striving for? Just those 4 questions right there will give you another indication of if that person is worthy of a phone interview at that point. Reach out to them in a professional fashion. Hey, the next step in our hiring process, phone interview. Okay. And then from there, in-person interview. Now you have really, if they make it to that point, my friend, you have a really great applicant sitting in front of you. But it has to do with the work that you do on the front end.
True.
What are your thoughts?
I think I love it. I think I've been too focused on my process in the field and not as I've been let myself down essentially in hiring. And I think hiring should be such a more important, you know, it should be way more important than it is to me currently.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, hiring is your take it out. And it's not saying that you want to leave your business, but you're ready to graduate. You've mastered this part of your business in terms of what you're producing. And the fun happens when things are being done for you. So you can really look at the systems going on, and you can really grow, and you can really train, and you can actually focus on these things. If you haven't had that system happen yet, you can't possibly be addicted to it. And I use that word in a very, very soft sense, but I know for a fact, like, I've seen the system happen. So to me, doing these things when someone quits or someone, I have to let someone go, it's like, boom, I got to get that back. I'm on it. I'm putting that ad out. I know what to look for now. I'm going to get better at hiring because I went through someone that didn't work out. I learned from that person. What did I miss? And then when you learn what you missed, then you just keep making better hires over and over and over again. So even though you went through what you went through with letting people go and they quit, I know you learned why, at the very least. And that's a skill set, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I would agree.
So, I hope that was that helpful today? I mean, did you feel like that was on the head of where you need to get started? So I'll send you that link. I think that'll help you, man. I really do.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm, just speaking with you, how you can analyze. I'm in the analysis paralysis all the time. I'm looking at investments and I'm looking at things and I'm not.
Yeah. You're always analyzing if it's a good return.
And I just need to jump,
Yes. Okay, great. This is risky. Let's put it that way. This is one of those things that requires faith. You don't know if they're going to screw your business over, but we can create a hedge. And that's all I'm trying to do is show you, hey, you take them through this process. You need people to come through that funnel though. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you might have to get 20 applicants to go through this process, which requires money, which requires going and putting the ad on a place where people actually will see it. Okay. I'm actually not sold on Craigslist as much as I used to be, in terms of quality. I'm not. I actually just go right to Indeed now. I had 100 applicants on my last job post for a painter.
Amazing.
Yeah. And you know what? I'll share with you the copy I wrote. I'll send it to you in an email so you can see what it is. And you just change it to the remodeling verbiage. And 100 people applied, and I said, no experience required.
Wow.
Okay. So, are you planning on paying hourly, or how are you going to be doing that?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
And eventually look for a salaried kind of foreman, and you go through the whole.
Go from there. Cool. Thing. And you've already assigned kind of what you want to pay this individual based on what their skill set is, I assume? Yes. Cool. All right. So don't be shy in terms of putting out a number that other people might look at and be uncomfortable with in terms of, wow, you're going to pay that much. But remember, we want people that have responsibilities, right? We want people that have to pay for things in terms of their car, their insurance, their family. So somebody who might be okay with $16 an hour in a sense that, like, it might be good for us. There's always an exchange there. I always learn that, it's always an exchange, pay more. Okay. So,
and I do have things in place, like for workers' compensation. I have my payroll, already set up. So
please get the ad out today.
I will.
Please get that ad out today. I'm going to email you the link to the course, and I'm also going to email you the copy of my ad. I'll just send you a link to my ad. So you can
man.
I got that for you. Good luck, man. And I'd love to chat with you again on the next step. So once you get all this squared away, you actually find some good help, man. Come back on. We'll talk about a different area of business.
I will.
All right. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much. Nice meeting you.
See you later. Yes, sir. You too.
Hey, I just want to take a second to thank you for joining me here on the Contractor Secrets podcast. I'm just going to take this opportunity to let you know that my passion is coaching people, helping people. I've changed my Instagram name to @contractorcoach. And I did that because that is my passion. I want to help you. So please reach out to me. If you have an issue going on in your business, send me an email, find me on Instagram, message me, and let's do a breakthrough session. I want to work through your problems in your business to help you get to that next level. And one thing that I always say is this, the difference between those that get over the humps and the hurdles in business is just a change in perspective. And that's what I plan to offer you. So get with me, message me, allow me to help you take your business to the next level.